Welcome to the Würzburg date quiz. Every single answer in this entire game is a date. A year, a day, a reign, a lifespan, or how many years or months passed between two events. I'm going to describe something, and your only job is to give me the date. Let's build that memory. 3 rounds, easy to hard, then a rapid-fire gauntlet at the end. Round 1 is the warm-up. The big, memorable years behind the residence, the staircase hall, the fresco, the White Hall, and the Imperial Hall. Round 2 goes deeper, exact days, birth and death years, and the reigns of the prince-bishops themselves. Round 3 is guide-level mastery, the bombing's exact timeline, ages, and a little date math. And the gauntlet mixes everything together, fast, no warning which one's coming next. Answer out loud before the reveal. Ready? Let's go. Round 1. The warm-up. What year did construction on the Würzburg residence officially begin? 1720. By what year was the residence's main structure largely completed? 1744. What year was the interior decoration of the residence finally finished, 60 years after construction began? 1780. What year was the Holy Roman Empire secularized, ending the prince-bishop's political rule over Würzburg? 1803. What year did the devastating bombing of Würzburg take place? 1945. What year was the Würzburg residence named a UNESCO World Heritage Site? 1981. What year was Würzburg first mentioned in a written document? 704. What year did Frederick Barbarossa marry Beatrice of Burgundy, the wedding shown in the Imperial Hall fresco? 1156. What year did the first bishop of Würzburg receive the title of Prince Bishop from Emperor Barbarossa? 1168. Between what 2 years was the Great Ceiling fresco actually painted by Tiepolo? 1752 and 1753. What year did Tiepolo arrive in Würzburg from Venice? 1750. Between what 2 years was the staircase hall itself built? 1737 and 1743. Between what 2 years was the White Hall stucco decoration completed? 1744 and 1745. Between what 2 years was the Imperial Hall decorated? 1749 and 1753. What year was the Franconia fountain built? 1894. What year did the residence's reconstruction finally finish, with the completion of the mirror cabinet? 1987. What year was construction on the court chapel completed, having begun in 1721? 1744. What year did the court gardens actually begin being planted in Rococo style? 1756. What year did Adam Friedrich von Sinsheim's reign as Prince Bishop begin? 1755. And what year did his reign end with his death? 1779. What year did Friedrich Karl von Schönborn's reign as Prince Bishop begin. 1729. What year did Karl Philipp von Greifenklau's reign as Prince Bishop begin? 1749. Since what year has Franz Jung been serving as Würzburg's bishop? 2018. What year did the Franconia Fountain's most recent restoration begin? 2019. What year did the residence's founder, Johann Philipp Franz von Schönborn, die suddenly after a hunting trip? 1724. Round 2. Building the knowledge. Give me the exact date, day, month, and year construction began on the residence. May 22nd, 1720. Give me the exact date of Frederick Barbarossa's wedding to Beatrice of Burgundy. June 17th, 1156. Give me the exact date the first Prince Bishop received his title from Barbarossa. July 10th, 1168. Give me the exact date the Franconia Fountain was unveiled. June 3rd, 1894. Give me the exact date of the bombing that devastated Würzburg. March 16th, 1945. What year was Balthasar Neumann, the residence's architect, born? 1687. And what year did he die? 1533. What year was the residence's founder, Johann Philipp Franz von Schönborn, born? 1673. What year was Frederick Barbarossa born? 1122. What year did Frederick Barbarossa die? 1190. What year was Beatrice of Burgundy born? 1143. What year did Beatrice of Burgundy die? 1184. What year did Friedrich Karl von Schönborn's reign as Prince Bishop come to an end? 1746. What year was Frederick Karl von Schönborn born? 1674. What year did Karl Philipp von Greifenklau's reign as Prince Bishop come to an end with his death? 1754. What year was Karl Philipp von Greifenklau born? 1690. What year was Balthasar Neumann chosen, at just 32 years old, to plan the residence? 1719. What year did Tiepolo actually sign and date the fresco, hiding it in a small stone in the Asia scene? 1753. In what month and year did Tiepolo create his oil sketch design for the fresco? April 1752. Between what 2 years was the great fresco professionally cleaned in modern times? 2003 and 2006. What year were the Whitehall's chandeliers brought from Vienna? 1750. What year was the goddess Belena added above the Whitehall stove? 1769. What year did construction begin on the court chapel? 1721. What year were the first plans for the court gardens actually drawn up, years before the garden itself was started? 1720. What year were the 8 cone-shaped yew trees in the court garden's south garden planted? 1890. Between what 2 years did the court sculptor Johann Peter Wagner create the court garden's mythological statues? 1771 and 1777. Between what 2 years did the prince bishops rule Würzburg? The full span of the title, from Harold's investiture to secularization. 1168 and 1803. What year did Würzburg's very first bishop of all, Burchard, begin his term long before the prince-bishop title existed? 742. And what year did Burchard's term end? 754. What exact date did America gain independence 23 years after the fresco depicting it was painted? July 4th, 1776. Round 3. Guide level mastery. Give me the precise time window the bombs fell on Würzburg on the night of March 16, 1945. Between 9:25 and 9:42 in the evening. Just 17 minutes. What date did Würzburg officially surrender to American forces? April 6, 1945. What year was the rubble from the bombing finally completely cleared from the city? 1964. Harvard University already existed by the time the America fresco was painted. What year was Harvard founded? 1636. And what year was Yale founded? 1701. How many years passed between construction beginning in 1720 and the main structure being completed in 1744? 24 years. How many years after construction began in 1720 was the interior decoration finally finished in 1780? 60 years. How many years passed between the wedding of Barbarossa and Beatrice in 1156 and the investiture of the first Prince Bishop in 1168? 12 years. For how many years did the Prince Bishops rule Würzburg in total, from 1168 to 1803? About 635 years. How many months did it take Tiepolo to paint the entire ceiling fresco? 14 months. How many months did it take Antonio Bossi to complete all the stucco work in the Whitehall? 9 months. What year did Tiepolo first arrive in Würzburg? 2 years before he finished the ceiling fresco. 1750. What year did construction begin on the court chapel, the very same year the residence itself was deep under construction? 1721. How old was Barbarossa when he married Beatrice of Burgundy in 1156? 34 years old. How old was Beatrice of Burgundy when she married Barbarossa? 12 or 13 years old. How old was Beatrice when she became a mother for the first time? 16 years old. How old was Beatrice of Burgundy said to be when she died in childbirth? 39 years old. What year did the Franconia Fountain's most recent restoration begin? 2019. And what year did that restoration finish? 2021. What year did Balthasar Neumann pass away? 1533. What year did the residence's founder pass away just 4 years after laying the foundation stone? 1724. What year did Friedrich Karl von Schönborn, the founder's brother, pass away? 1746. What year did Karl Philipp von Greifenklau, the man who commissioned the fresco, pass away? 1754. What year did Frederick Barbarossa pass away? 1190. What year did Beatrice of Burgundy pass away? 1184. Final round, the gauntlet. Construction began what year? 1020, May 22nd. Main structure completed, what year? 1744. Interior fully finished, what year? 1780. Empire secularized, what year? 1803. Würzburg bombed, what year? 1945, March 16th. UNESCO recognition, what year? 1981. Barbarossa and Beatrice married, what year? 1156. First Prince Bishop invested, what year? 1168. The fresco was painted, what 2 years? 1752 and 1753. The staircase hall was built, what 2 years? 1737 to 1743. The White Hall stucco was completed, what 2 years? 1744 to 1745. The Imperial Hall was decorated, what 2 years? 1749 to 1753. The Franconia Fountain was built, what year? 1894. The mirror cabinet was completed, what year? 1987. Neumann was chosen to plan the residence, what year? 1719. Court chapel construction began, what year? 1721. The court gardens were actually started, what year? 1756. Würzburg surrender to American forces, what date? April 6, 1945. That's the gauntlet, and that's the game. 1020, 1737, 1744, 1749, 1752, 1756, 1080, 1835, 1945, 1981. The whole timeline of this palace from the first stone to World Heritage status should be starting to feel automatic. Run it back tomorrow and the day after that, and you'll never fumble a date on this tour again. See you back here for the next round.